have cinnamon with carbs and if that's a good thing. So the thing is, what cinnamon's going to do, what cinnamon does, the benefit of cinnamon is that it actually reduces the blood sugar load or the blood sugar impact of a specific food that you're eating. So if you have, for instance, plain sugar and then you add cinnamon to that, then what that's going to do is it's going to decrease the spike in blood sugar as a result of eating the sugar. So I'm not saying, you know, go have donuts and whatever you want and just put sugar on top, but that is the benefit of sugar. There's been a lot of research on this, or sorry, the benefit of cinnamon, sorry. There's really no benefit to sugar. The research on this is pretty extensive, and especially for diabetics and those with blood sugar issues, then that's always a good thing. So Michelle, there you go. So if you're having carbs, if it's suitable, add in some cinnamon. For instance, really simple idea is oatmeal, right? If you've got oatmeal, put some cinnamon in, right? Because not only does it add flavor to it, adds a natural sweetness to it without sugar, but it also blunts the sugar impact of that oatmeal. So there we go. So thanks for the question, Michelle, and I hope that helps you guys out. Cinnamon is an awesome spice. Pretty much any spice or herb is going to be very beneficial to you or for you. As far as I know, there's really no herb or spice that's not good for you, right? Think of any of them and they all have their healing properties. So a couple housekeeping things. Again, if you want to follow the, first and foremost, if you're new to the channel, subscribe right here on Periscope. I'm doing these hangouts pretty much on a daily basis. The times are pretty much haphazard, but that's the way it goes. If you miss one of these scopes, you want to check out the recording. We're putting all the recordings up on my YouTube channel. If you want to join us on YouTube, it's Elkaim1. That is my handle on YouTube. And if you don't know who I am, my name is Yuri Elkaim. I'm a New York Times bestselling author for the All Day Energy Diets, the upcoming All Day Fat Burning Diet. For the past decade and a half, I've helped over 500,000 people around the world to get in great shape, have way more energy, and lose weight without killing themselves in the process or depriving themselves of great food. So that's kind of me in a nutshell. What I really specialize in is helping you have a lot more energy, helping you burn fat and get in great shape, and giving you health advice that you can actually trust. There's a lot of nonsense out there. I don't bring it to you, okay? I cut through the bull, I cut through the BS, and I give you the simple, uncomplicated versions of a lot of the stuff that's out there. So anyways, just a couple things. If you enjoy the channel, if you're enjoying these hangouts, just, you can tap on the screen, get some hearts going, and that will obviously help out this channel to get exposed to more people. So thank you guys. If you want to just tap the screen right now, just make sure your hearts are working. Just tap it a couple times. Let's see how many hearts we can get going. And if we can keep these hearts streaming all episode long, that would be awesome. So just, keep your finger on the screen. And if you've got a question as I'm doing this, please just, jot it into the comments and I'll take a mental note of it so that I can answer it for you. Cool. Okay, so we just talked about cinnamon and carbs. The next question I want to answer, and I'm just kind of checking some notes here, is how to detox while eating a regular diet. And this comes from Omesh. So I don't know what a regular diet means, right? That can be very subjective, right? Regular diet for some people might be having McDonald's several times a week. Other people might be 100% raw vegan. Others it might be, just, eating regular healthy-ish type of foods. So, he also wants to know so I'm just going to assume that you're eating a relatively clean diet. So what would you do on top of that to detox your body? So let me just explain detox really quickly. Detox is something that your body goes through 24/7 without you thinking about it. Right now, as you're watching this, your body, your liver, your cells are getting rid of junk, neutralizing toxins so that you can survive, right? That's pretty much what's going on every single second of your life. You can thank your body, give yourself a big hug, because if that did not happen, you would turn into a big wasteland and croak. The problem is that a lot of us already are a wasteland, a toxic wasteland. So let me give it an analogy. So I'm drinking this, what is this? This is apple, carrot, and ginger juice from Greenhouse Juice. I love these guys, they're amazing. So let's say this is your you've got a bucket inside your body. And over time, over your life, these toxins build up. And you eat crappy foods, you're exposed to environmental pollutants, and you're like, you know what, it's all good, I'm young, nothing's really gonna happen. That's because you're young, right? So over time, these toxins start to build up and start to build up and start to build up. Eventually, they will, if you continue to expose yourself to these environmental toxins and food toxins and lifestyle toxins, eventually your bucket or this bottle will overflow. And that is basically when you hit your toxic threshold and your body starts exhibiting symptoms. So for me, I had really bad asthma, digestive issues, eczema, very low energy. I didn't clue into that. And when I was 17, my body attacked itself and I lost all my hair. And I developed an autoimmune condition called alopecia. So for me, I'm kind of grateful that it was only hair, because I mean, for other people, it turns into multiple sclerosis, type 1 diabetes, rheumatoid arthritis, things that are much more debilitating. So we need to take this seriously. So if you're eating a regularly, let's just call it an overall clean diet, gluten-free, dairy-free, low in sugar, lots of anti-inflammatory foods, good amounts of plant-based foods, then you're already on the right path. You don't really need to do a crazy, like hardcore cleanse. Now, we do have a cleansing program called the Total Wellness Cleanse, and our approach to cleansing is food-based. So what I'm basically suggesting here is that what you want to do to think about cleansing your body is something you do every single day. Every time you put something in your mouth. If I have a sip of this juice, I'm giving my body nutrients, specifically nutrients for my liver, for instance, that will help in phase 2 detoxification. Vitamin C, vitamin A, all sorts of amazing carotenoids and different phytonutrients. And it's not so much about doing a 10-day blitz and then going back to things the way they were before. You can do that, right? You totally can do that. But remember that it's what you do consistently that's going to be the most important determinant of your overall health. So if you can think of detoxing as just eating well on a day-to-day basis, and you can have your occasional indulgences, that's totally cool, then that's going to be more powerful than doing a 10-day master cleanse or some kind of extreme type of detox. If you have parasite issues, heavy metal issues, then you obviously want to look at something specific for that, where you may want to do a parasite cleanse or a heavy metal detox, which might be things like adding in more chlorella, getting in more cilantro, doing some, and obviously all health food stores have their variations of those various detoxes out there. So that's what you can do to kind of take things to the next level. But at a very basic level, think about just getting rid of the irritants from your diet. So the gluten, the dairy, the allergenic foods like that, reducing the sugar in your diet, improving or increasing the amount of plant-based foods, because the plants, vegetables, non-sweet or low-sweet fruit, we'll talk about in a second, that's really what's going to give you just look and feel your best. And that's, for me, the way you should be cleansing or detoxing as an active participant on a regular basis. Well, Mesh, hopefully that answers your question. Anyways, if you go to yurielkaim.com/periscope, I've got a cool little assignment for you. So go there, and I want you to see if you can help save my dogs. And I don't know if you guys have done this already. If you haven't, go there, check it out. It's pretty amusing. yurielkaim.com/periscope. Check it out. I think you'll have a good laugh. Okay, so final question here is about fructose malabsorption. So this is from Maha Khalil, who I think has actually been one of our clients for a while. The last name definitely looks familiar. So she wants to know, what is fructose malabsorption, why it's occurring to her, and what can be done about it. So fructose is a type of sugar that's found in fruit. Now, every fruit has fructose, but in varying amounts. And what you'll find, before I get into the ratios and stuff, what the problem with fructose is that it needs to be converted into glucose for your body to actually use it. And if you have too much fructose in one sitting, that becomes a very big problem from a digestion standpoint, because your body can only, I'm just looking at some notes here, your body can only absorb about 25 grams of fructose in one sitting. That is almost as much as you would get in 1 can of Coke. So if you had a Coke, or even an apple juice, actually it's the same amount of fructose, then the trouble is that there's 2 things. First of all, people with fructose malabsorption are missing adequate numbers of fructose carriers to move fructose out of the intestines to be absorbed into the body. So that's where you start getting a lot of the bloating and the gas and those symptoms that are very similar to like IBS, irritable bowel syndrome. The second problem though is maybe even more severe, which is, let's say you do, even if you don't have fructose malabsorption problems, let's say you do get enough fructose in, you absorb it out of the intestines into your body, it has to go to the liver first. And the liver, again, can only convert so much fructose at once. Anything more than that, so let me give you an example. Let's think of a factory kind of conveyor belt of stuff that's being put together for like a toy or something, like for Christmas, like Santa Claus and the elves are working on that conveyor belt. That conveyor belt can, at a certain speed, the elves can keep up and they can do their thing, they can hammer in the nails, they can put together the toys, and everything's great. You get the toy, the finished product, off to Santa. Now, what happens if that belt, that conveyor belt, starts to speed up 2-fold, 3-fold, 10-fold? Now you've got, the elves are just overwhelmed, and you've got these parts flying all over the place, and you don't have a finished product. And that's what happens in the liver with fructose, is that when you've got too much fructose coming in, that's like the conveyor belt speeding up, and those byproducts are uric acid and triglycerides. So if you've heard of fatty liver disease, that has nothing to do with alcohol. It has everything to do with too much fructose as a result of too much sugar intake throughout your life. So fructose is a serious problem, and I'm not saying that fruit is bad, because it's definitely very good for you. But if you do have, first and foremost, you definitely want to stay away from juicing fruit. Now let me just make a note here. So you'll see here that this is apple, carrot, and ginger. This is typically a high sugar type of juice. I don't drink this very often, but it's the last one we had in the fridge, so I'm enjoying it. Juicing apple by itself, you remove the fiber, so now it's just liquid fructose, right? Not the best thing to do. Now you'll notice that I'm sipping on this. I'm not chugging the whole thing. So knowing that this is a pretty high sugar, high fructose drink, I'm sipping on it, I'm taking my time, so I give my body enough time to absorb and convert the fructose into glucose. The only thing that speeds up your liver's ability to convert fructose into glucose is intense exercise. So if you're exercising intensely and then you're having a fructose drink like Gatorade, or this juice as an example, then that would actually be probably the best time to have that. So does that make sense? Does that make sense, guys? So let me talk a little bit about difference. So let's say you do have fructose malabsorption. You have bloating and gas and IBS type of symptoms, maybe mucousy stool. These are all types of signs and symptoms of issues that you have digesting fructose. Not everyone has this, but a lot of people do. So what you want to be looking at is the relationship between fructose to glucose in the fruit. Some fruit have more fructose than others. So if you have problems with fructose, you want to avoid or minimize the fruits that have higher amounts of fructose. So let me give you a couple examples. I usually suggest eating non-sweet fruit if you're going to have a lot of fruit. So those would be things like pears, apples, berries, awesome choices. However, if you have fructose issues, pears and apples are one of the greatest sources of fructose relative to glucose. So if you have issues with fructose malabsorption, you want to avoid those. Okay, so you want to avoid the apples and pears, guava, honeydew melon, papaya, watermelon. Those are all higher on the fructose, a little bit lower on the glucose, again, relative to each other. Ones you want to look at, again, good options, so higher glucose, lower fructose, would be berries. So pretty much all the berries, like again, you can eat berries by the truckload. Like you can bring in one of those cement mixers, have their spout, and just open your mouth, and you can eat berries all day long. They're so beneficial for you. as as we're showing here, low fructose, higher glucose, very low on the glycemic index scale, very high in antioxidants, just amazing for your health. So citrus fruit are also on the lower fructose side. Yeah, so that's pretty much what you want to know about, right? So kind of avoid the apples and pears and stuff and the honeydew melons, typically the melons and papayas, apples and pears, and focus more on the berries and the citrus fruit if that's okay for you. What else? What can be done about fructose malabsorption? There's really not much you can do other than just maintaining good gut health. So regular probiotics, gut health protocols, whether that's using resistant starch in the form of raw potato starch, which you can just add to your smoothies. It's a form of prebiotic fiber that is really good food for your probiotic, the good bacteria in your colon. So that's always really helpful. So yeah, so those are the 3 questions I wanted to go over. Hope this has helped you out. Do you have a question that I can answer for you while you've got me here, while I'm here with you live on Periscope? Let me know in the comments. So what's a good health test to learn more about the conditions of your specific gut? What you want to do, I think there's a website called American Gut, I think. And even if that's not the one, what you basically are going to look at doing is some type of stool sample. And you're going to have to find a lab that's going to be able to analyze the different strains of bacteria in your colon, in your feces, right? And you also may want to look at, have you got parasites? Have you got other things in there that you need to assess? And that's probably the gold standard for assessing the health of your gut. Other things you can look at are when you go to do number 2, look at your stool and look for a couple things. First off, if the poop floats, what do you think that means? I'm just going to put this out there. If your poop floats, what does that mean? I want to see if you guys can get this. And if you've used our Total Wellness Cleanse, you'll know the answers to these questions. Fat. Yeah. So what it means is that you're not absorbing fat properly, right? Fat is buoyant, so it's going to float. So that tells you that something is going on inside where your body is not absorbing fat properly. You may want to look into that. Second one is, well, obviously we're not looking at, if you've got diarrhea, there's an issue there, right? Maybe there's an irritant type of food, but generally your stool wants to look like a banana. Your colon, just think of it as this long tube, it's like a sausage maker, right? It's those sausage makers. When the sausage comes out, that's kind of what your poop should look like. It should be like a sausage maker where I know this is kind of gross, but it's really important. You're looking at a banana kind of form with your stool. It shouldn't be foul in odor. If it smells terrible, that's an indication that there's probably some putrid fermentation going on in there. Maybe too much animal meat. Those are some indicators of that. And it should be brown, right? So walnut brown is what you're looking for. And those are just, without doing any kind of tests, those are kind of just immediate gut health checks, or like simple things you can look at after you've done your number 2, right? So if you want to go a bit more in depth, then look at doing a stool sample with different bacterial strains and parasites. Yeah, so there you go. Awesome question. Anything else? Let me know in the comments, and just keep the hearts coming, guys. Keep them coming. I'm really appreciative of it. Thank you so much for all the love. Let's see how many hearts we can get. Just keep tapping the screen. Bop, 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 bop. And you are welcome, Pink Robot Tips, or Pink Robot Lips. Cool name, cool username. Yeah, so anything else, guys? we're going to take the kids out for an early dinner, so I'm going to head out if there's no other questions. And again, if you want to watch the replay of this, it'll be up on Periscope for the next 24 hours. And then thereafter, we'll have it up on YouTube. So you can check out our playlist on YouTube. It's all the Periscope videos that I've done. You can get all the replays, all the good stuff. Remember to follow me on Periscope. Share this with your friends on Twitter. Let them know at Elkaim on Periscope. And to make your life even more difficult, at Yelkaim1 on YouTube is what you want to follow. And remember to go to, I know there's a lot of different calls to action here, yurielkaim.com/Periscope. Go check it out, have fun with the page, see if you can help me save my dogs. I think, I'm not even gonna ruin the surprise. Just go check it out, it's a lot of fun. So, thank you. Let's finish off with Care Bear send-off. Love Your Marketing Instagram too. Well, thank you so much. I actually don't know if I'm gonna continue using that channel for our business stuff because I don't really like Instagram that much. And it's just, I don't know if, at least for the business and marketing stuff that we're doing, I don't know if I want to continue doing that. But thank you so much for the love and the shout outs and continue to follow us. I'm sure we'll post some random stuff on there eventually. But yeah. All right, guys. Well, have a great Saturday. Make it awesome. I'll probably be back with you tomorrow, which is Sunday. Come ready with your questions. Like literally take out a notepad, write them down. If you want me to answer something live on the Periscope, let me know. And hope you guys have an awesome rest of your day. See you guys.